In 1258, a massive Mongol army led by Hulagu Khan breached the fortified walls of Baghdad. The invasion force overwhelmed the city's defenses with sheer numbers, collapsing a civilization that had thrived for 5 centuries. The invaders systematically dismantled the city's academic infrastructure. Soldiers emptied out sprawling libraries, putting hundreds of thousands of handwritten, irreplaceable manuscripts to the torch. According to historical accounts from the era, so many books were thrown into the Tigris River that the water ran black with ink, while the streets ran red with the blood of the scholars who tried to protect them. These pages held the primary records of Greek philosophy, Indian mathematics, and Persian history, the concentrated intellectual output of 4 different civilizations. To understand the magnitude of what was lost in the ash and the ink, we have to rewind 500 years to the very foundation of Baghdad and look at exactly what was inside those books. This map shows Baghdad's original footprint, the round city. Caliphs built this circular capital along the Tigris, uniting the global East and West. At its very center sat a radical concept, Bayt al-Hikma, the House of Wisdom. The institution functioned as a state-funded engine designed to capture, translate, and synthesize human knowledge on a global scale. By the 9th century, Caliph al-Ma'mun launched an aggressive global acquisition strategy. He dispatched envoys across borders to find rare texts, offering scholars the exact weight of their translated books in solid gold. The translation movement operated as a systematic knowledge factory, supported by the full financial and administrative power of the caliphate. Inside these walls, Nestorian Christian physicians, Jewish mathematicians, Zoroastrian Persian astronomers, and Arab Muslim scholars worked side by side to decode the world's intellectual heritage. This diverse workforce was united by a single tool, Arabic. Because of this concentrated effort, the language rapidly evolved into the global standard for scientific communication. They rescued foundational texts from obscurity. While Western Europe was losing its grip on classical antiquity, translators in Baghdad were saving Greek philosophy from vanishing into the historical void. Entire volumes of thought from figures like Aristotle were tracked down, purchased, and meticulously preserved by the Abbasids. But the translators faced a massive linguistic hurdle. Pre-Islamic Arabic lacked the terminology for these complex scientific concepts. So the translators had to invent hundreds of brand new words for anatomy, optics, and philosophy as they worked. This integration of different faiths and backgrounds prioritized scholarly accuracy over doctrinal differences, creating a workspace where logic and reason were the primary requirements. Once the ancient texts were translated, the scholars didn't stop there. They began to test, correct, and improve upon the ancient theories, shifting the House of Wisdom from an archive into an active laboratory. Thinkers like al-Khwarizmi took advantage of this new access to global mathematics. He synthesized Greek geometry and Indian numerical concepts to invent the foundational rules of modern algebra. This manuscript page shows the kind of dense numerical data they processed. Scholars translated incredibly complex tables, like those found in Ptolemy's Almagest, converting classical Greek astronomical models into functional Arabic. And this diagram of lunar phases and light rays illustrates the next crucial step. Instead of blindly trusting Ptolemy, Baghdad's astronomers built their own original observatories to track the stars and test the Greek models against their own raw data. This culture of rigorous testing yielded original breakthroughs in medicine and optics, allowing them to anticipate modern theories of human vision centuries before European scientists did. Look at this historical medical diagram depicting human eye anatomy. You can see the advanced biological mapping these physicians achieved, breaking down the intricate physical components of vision. By identifying and labeling specific optical nerves and ocular muscles, they developed applied surgical medical science. The institution had effectively shifted human progress from the passive preservation of the past to the active pursuit of the scientific method. At the very height of this scientific golden age, while they were mapping the stars and performing complex eye surgery, the Mongol horde arrived at the gates in 1258. The ensuing slaughter created a massive void in the historical record. 5 centuries of original Arabic science, along with the translated texts of antiquity, were permanently erased in a matter of days. Total intellectual darkness was avoided for one specific reason. Over the preceding decades, copies of these texts had been traded, shared, and smuggled to distant corners of the world. Many of those surviving manuscripts migrated westward across the Mediterranean to Al-Andalus, the Islamic Iberian Peninsula, establishing cities like Toledo as the new frontiers of preservation. It was there that scholars like Gerard of Cremona initiated a second massive translation movement. Working within the Toledo School of Translators, they painstakingly converted these rescued Arabic texts into Latin. Through this pipeline, Europe uncovered the rules of algebra, advanced medicine from Ibn Sina, and Aristotle's lost philosophical works. The physical house of wisdom was annihilated. But the knowledge it had gathered, protected, and projected outward survived the collapse of the Abbasid Empire, serving as the direct spark for the European Renaissance. It is a lasting proof that collaborative intellectual preservation can outlast any army.